Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. I will have some announcements and a recap, but before I do any of that, I would just love it if my players would do some player introductions, starting with Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Sun Soul Tabaxi monk.
Hi, I'm Kay. I play Lady Elwyn Amalos, who is the Elvish Circle of the Land Druid.
Hello, I'm Melissa, and I play Tucknance Wiseacre, who is a pixie bard.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Vertinor Oranglass, who is a changeling armor artificer.
Hi, I'm Will. I play Hakan, the halfling cleric.
Thank you, guys. So those announcements I talked about. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, as well as a custom pixie lineage, which Melissa is playing with Tuppence. The character portraits, which you'll see on the info cards and pretty much all over the layout, were drawn by an artist named Krista Porter, goes by @KristaPorter with 2 R's on the end on Twitter. If you need a refresher on anything that's going on in the campaign, you can check out our campaign wiki at World Anvil, where I have a page, I think it's called something like The Story So Far, where I just pretty much journal through everything that happens. So that's a good way to get caught up quick. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. Finally, you can follow us on Twitter at Antiheroes Anon, and we just hope that you enjoy the show, share it with your friends, and come back to watch some more. So, before I can stumble over my words, let's roll the intro video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, a blizzard forced the Silver Seekers to take refuge near a settlement called Twin Towns. There, a cleric named Hakan Anvilheart helped them to fend off some bounty hunters who were looking for Prince Vertinor. However, the larger problem in the town was the strange, cold, undead monsters that were rising up every night and attacking the towns. After accidentally setting off Rhymestrand's primary defense too early, the Seekers provoked the ire of the new mayor. That was a weird pronunciation of that word, mayor? Okay, there we go. Of that town, Albrecht Coldlake, as well as the ire of his wolf cultists. A defeated Albrecht fled, allowing the party to free his mother, the rightful mayor, and now it's up to everyone in Twin Towns to pull together in order to defend both towns before night falls once again and the undead rise. And so we're going to pick up right there. The group of you were pretty much, I believe, taking a long rest in the hours before nighttime falls, but that gives you plenty of time to scheme up defenses, fortify the position you want to defend in town, and otherwise, talk amongst yourselves and have conversations that may have been put on hold, while you've been so busy here in Twin Towns. So whatever you want to do during this 8 hours, I'll turn it over to you.
So I was thinking, How do we know that these zombie creatures are going to be coming to Rhymestrand, right? That's the town we're in.
Mhm.
How do you know that we're not gonna like that they're not gonna like wander off and go to Glimmercairn or something?
Did you want to ask this to a
Uh,
specific NPC within the town, or are you just talking sort
I'm
of
just
to your
talking to
fellow
like the
party members?
party.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like they were going to both towns every night that it happened, right? Like it was a pretty consistent thing.
Okay.
Until they put up
Yeah.
the barrier.
The wall fire, yeah.
Mhm.
So do we want to bring the fight to them and like fight at the cathedral, or do you just want to take like half of them out at the town?
Well, how many are gonna come out? Are there just like endless and endless waves, or is there a limit? I mean, we can't
So-
possibly fight all night.
Yeah, and
True.
if they're already thinned out by spreading out, that might be good too. Instead of just being right in front of the entire horde. That, and we don't really know how they arise, so we could just be instantly surrounded.
True.
So probably just fortifying a place in Twin Towns would be the best option.
Okay.
Or in Rhymestrand.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So now we have to pick out where. And it's not going to be in the L-shaped stronghold area that we're in, because that's going to have the most of the citizens, and it'll be pretty packed, right? So
Yeah, so that stronghold, I mean, it can hold, it's pretty much designed so that it can hold most of the citizens of the town on its own. However, there's not really room for the citizens of Glimmercairn in there. If you look at the map of that stronghold, there's a little bit of a cellar area in the kitchen. And that actually goes underground to some underground chambers where the citizens of Rhymestrand can pretty much take shelter. But like you said, that means it's not really a great place to, fight, because then you've got the undead right at your door to all your citizens.
Do we know if there's any like fighters within like the citizens? Anyone that knows how to fight?
Yeah, the mayor mentioned that they have a small number of Imperial Wardens. Glimmercairn also has a small number of Imperial Wardens who could probably join the fight. And among the dwarves, there are also some able-bodied militia, just men and women who have maybe not been thoroughly trained to fight as soldiers, but are strong, able-bodied, and willing to fight. So you do have those allies who will be fighting with you.
Okay.
So is there like what's the second most defensible structure area in Rhymestrand? This is the most.
Pretty much the rest of Rhymestrand is just
Houses?
residential homes.
Okay.
If you want to go to Roll20, I can pull you over to, I remembered I made a map for just a section of the town in case something went down just in town. So I thought we could use this if you wanted to, just as sort of like a sampling of what the town looks like. We could use this map. But it's up to you. If you want to like fight outside the stronghold, we could do that.
So I guess in either location, is it possible that we can have, during this long rest before nightfall, the citizens sort of band together and build like some barricades and...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the mayor pretty much, I think before she set off for Glimmercairn, would have said to you that the citizens, I mean, they're pretty much at your disposal to like set up any kind of defenses that you can think of. She probably would have assigned, I guess, Murdoch as kind of your liaison with them.
Okay.
So yeah, you can pretty much just tell Murdoch what you want them to do, and he will have the citizens do it.
So also, I know this might be jumping a little bit, but like, has Embers told us about the tablet yet? Or is she still out on errands?
The way I was thinking about doing this was like sometime in the middle of your long rest, I'm gonna pop back in and take my own short rest and tell you about everything that I've been doing, and then go back and run some more errands.
Because if that, I know that's just kind of like, nah, I don't want to worry about it. It's fine. I just didn't know if we were wanting to handle the tablet during the long rest or not.
We
Well,
won't be able to do it until after anyway. Relying on my skills.
Or after the long rest, but before the nighttime.
Mhm.
what I would say is if you had some way of dealing with it now, well, Albrecht is a very talented crafter, and so like the amount of things that you could do, that you could build, would increase exponentially. Like without Albrecht being able to do any crafting himself,
Murdoch.
it's going to be.
Murdoch.
Sorry, yeah, both ending with the sounds. Yeah,
I
without
guess my
Murdoch,
question
yeah. Go on.
is, if, like, how would that affect the timing of the long rest if we do it now versus if we do it after the long rest? Or
It would depend what you want to do something about it. You know, if it's something not terribly strenuous, you could accomplish that during a long rest. No
I mean,
problem.
it would involve me wild shaping and taking a dive in the lake, basically.
Swimming.
Wild shapes come back on a short rest, don't they?
They do.
Then yeah, I'd say that's fine.
Oh, that's cool.
They do. But the reason I wanted to wait till after the long rest was after the long rest, I have locate object, which I
Mm.
could use to help me find the thing
mean,
without. I could try to find it without the spell before the long rest is over.
That might work. If you can do it twice, if you have to do it twice, that is.
Yeah, but if we wait until after the long rest, then Murdoch won't have the ability to
true.
do cool things for us. is what
Yeah.
we're saying.
Potentially, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can go do that.
It's
as
worth
soon
it
as Embers gets
because
back or whatever.
you can finish your long rest by the lake then.
Well, and I technically only need 4 hours of sleep anyway, as an elf.
You still need
I
8
I still
hours
need
for
8
a long
hours of a
rest.
long
though.
rest. I
Yeah.
know the rule. Thank you, Ethan. But I'm saying, like, if this is considered not strenuous activity, it's not like I'd be interrupting sleep to go do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So, wait, Embers and Tuppence both saw the creatures, right? Are
I
they?
don't know if
I
Tuppence
didn't.
did.
I
You didn't
didn't.
see them. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you didn't want to. Yeah. But
'Cause it was dark in there, and only Embers had the dark vision, I think.
are
Mhm.
they? How like tall and like size category big are they?
I mean, they were medium creatures. In
They're
terms of
humanoids.
in terms of height, slightly above average height for a human, I would say.
Okay.
The weird thing about it, Embers, as you kind of recall all of this, is that every single one of them pretty much looked identical. They were all humanoid, very clearly humanoid undead creatures, but they all had pretty much the exact same like facial construction and height and like all of that. They looked like identical copies of each other. Very strange for undead corpses.
I thought most of the people that were buried at the cathedral were dwarves, no? Because it was cold lakes.
Mhm.
So
Dwarves and gnomes from Glimmercairn as well.
This
Huh.
is it
that's
kind of-
weird. Go ahead.
So this is kind of furthering my belief that I think that these things are being generated by something in the church or below the church or somewhere.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well.
When during our long rest do the citizens of Glimmercairn arrive?
On that note, actually, before I answer that question, what exactly did you guys put in the letter that you sent Mayor Gilead Cold Lake off with?
I think we sent 3. Did we decide on 3 letters?
I think so.
One was for Mayor Tawin Dazzleberry, which was basically let me scroll up to this
Yeah.
one. Basically explaining what was happening and to clarify, last week, Ethan, you said that the stronghold here in Rhymestrand could host about half of the population of the Mercairn.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
addition to, so in the letter, we explain the situation and we ask her to send half of the population here to Rhymestrand to hunker down with us at the stronghold, and then asking her to take the other half to the Broken Axe and wait out the night there.
Okay. Then it's probably, let's see. It's probably about 2 hours into your rest that Mayor Gilead comes back with a bunch of the citizens of Glimmercairn in tow. And you can see that among them, there's about 10, 12, up to 15 maybe, that are wearing like Imperial Warden armor. And then, and have weapons and things like that on them, all gnome-sized and adorable. And then there are also a number of, you can see that Tawin has not exactly followed your request in that, she came here herself. But she
Well,
is
hold
with,
on, listen though,
Okay.
before you make that decision, because I think in our letter to Torin, we were asking him to put Tawin in charge at the Broken Axe.
Tawin still
And-
comes.
She still comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
Then
has
who's
time-
in charge of the Broken Axe?
She has time to go over there still though, with 2
Okay.
hours in the
Okay.
long rest.
When Tawin shows up, she would tell you that she put Oda in charge over there,
Okay.
her wife.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tawin is here because she has a number of sort of elderly looking gnomes who all pretty much stick pretty close to her, and they're dressed in clothes as if it looks like they intend to remain outside, giving you the inclination that it seems like they're going to be fighting as well. But none of them really have weapons or anything like that. They've got like tree branch staves and twig wands and things like that. And so they probably show up about 2 hours later. Tawin and this group of other gnomes.
Is the inventor with them? Very.
Did you ask for Very to come here?
That was going to be our 3rd letter, was to Very, but that's completely up to Vert how he wants to appeal to her, because you guys have that relationship.
Yeah, I would have liked Very to be here. Do you think I would need to, like, you said if we can convince her, right?
Yeah, so I would say roll a persuasion check. We'll see how persuasive your letter was.
All right, let's see how persuasive my letter was. Oh, there isn't any way I can get advantage on this, is there?
I could give you guidance while you're writing it.
Yeah,
Who's got
she
the-
could.
the
Yeah,
die?
that could happen.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh no.
The guidance isn't going to help.
Yeah, Very is not with them when they show
Oh,
up.
that's unfortunate.
And
Oh.
Tawin comes over and she says, we had your letter delivered to Very. But she really just didn't want to come out. She said that she was going to stay in her room and that she had some ideas for how to barricade the door and that she'd be fine. So, when she gets like that, there's not much we can do. So we left her there, but I do think that she'll be okay. She stayed in that house the entire time and she was fine. So I'm sure she'll be all right.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Oda sent me with some tarts, and I do have hot cocoa for everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It's in the backpacks. My fellow, the rest of my circle has them. So You can get some from them whenever you need it.
Thank you. She's the best.
Thank you, Cohen. That's
Just
very
what we
kind of
needed.
you.
We'll go get the rest of our citizens situated within this stronghold. I'm very eager to see it, to be honest. I've never actually seen the inside of the Rhymestrand stronghold, so this is very exciting. Once everyone's situated, we'll come back out and we'll get ready for helping you guys prepare some defenses, I think.
Okay.
And
Sounds
yeah,
good.
she just kind of shuffles off.
Okay, is Torin with her?
Torin, I think, probably comes separately a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, he shows up and he walks over to the group of you.
Were
He
we
sees Hakan and
asking-
kind of reaches his hand out to Hakan for a handshake.
Oh yeah, give him a very firm handshake. Ask him if he closed up or locked the doors. Well, actually,
He-
no. There's someone taking charge of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
What was up, Nick? You were going to say something.
Oh, I think so. I think Embers is going to spend the first hour of this long rest doing her own short rest, and then kind of, telling Elwyn about the stuff and like if you need to know more about where to go, where I can show you the spot in the lake, where to go, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm going to kind of bounce from the stronghold and head over to the tavern.
Okay.
Where I'm going to talk to Fritz.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me try and remember what accent Fritz used. I've got it. Okay. Yep.
And
So-
basically, I think it's I don't know if we need to play the scene out, but I kind of want to ask Fritz what his rates would be to help out tonight and tomorrow.
Oh, okay. How much do you tell him about the entire situation?
I think everything. I'll tell him that we figured out what's causing the blizzard that's keeping us all stuck here, and that that the wars are down, and there's going to be some heavy fighting tonight as we try to protect the towns. And then tomorrow we're going to try and go in and stop once and for all, and that fire is going to be very useful, we've discovered, and so his services would be
Interesting.
very appreciated.
Why don't you make a the check, the persuasion one.
Yeah.
Gold isn't enough to sway him.
Well, this will determine
How much gold is
how
it?
much he
Yeah.
wants to charge. Let's see.
Okay, that's not the worst it could have been. Persuasion. So that's a 15.
15. He kind of hears your whole speech and says, well, I would like to be getting out of here. So, you know what? I'll charge you 5 gold pieces to help you out in your little altercation.
Yeah, I'll pay him.
Yep. So he'll accept that. And then he just basically gestures and says, all right, lead the way.
Okay.
Say,
Yeah.
I feel like I know you from somewhere. We ever met before? Before all of this?
I try to think back. Is there like a check on roll? Like
Yeah, roll
history?
like an intelligence check.
Yeah, sure. Roll a personal history check. Six.
Sorry, did you say a number?
No, I
missed
got
it.
a 6.
Oh, no. I mean, you try and think back on where you might have met this person. Nothing comes to you, but you feel like there might be something buried in one of your, drunken memories from the before jail times.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think I'll say, man, it's possible. Kind of a lot of my youth is just kind of a blur.
Yeah, well, me too.
Yeah.
It's still a bit of a blur. So, you know what? We probably haven't met. To be honest, I'm not even sure I've ever met a Tabaxi. So, Yeah, you know what? We've never met, I'm sure.
Nice to
And he
meet
just
you.
kind of nods and then awkwardly follows you
Yeah.
out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my, I don't want to say that's my only contribution to the prep, but I'm going to go and try to make myself useful somewhere else because I don't need to rest the rest of the time.
Okay. Well, there will certainly be citizens who need help, like building whatever defenses you guys plan.
Mhm.
So you can go assist with that. I need to look up a fire genasi, see what they can do. Surely they have some innate fire ability. They can do produce flame and burning hands. Okay. I will keep that in mind. Great. What are the rest of you up to?
Guess I'm gonna have to go and look for that chest. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
Do you get Murdoch to like show you the spot on the lake?
Yeah.
He when you go and look for him, you find him at his forge, but like I said before, the fires are kind of still cold. And he's just getting a bunch of supplies basically to take out to people who are crafting barricades. And he sees you come in and says, "Oh, I can't remember if I caught your name."
Elwyn.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Elwyn. What can I do for you? I'm to be out helping construct some battlements shortly, but
Yes, I just have a quick favor to ask. Amber's filled me in on your little conversation earlier, and I was thinking about having a dip in the lock to look at
kind of
that chest.
raises an eyebrow at you. Oh, you know it's freezing cold in there, right?
Well, the cold never bothered me anyway. So
Oh my god.
He kind
She
of
went
shakes
there.
his head and says, "Well, if you're quite sure,
I have my ways to protect myself.
well, I'm not going to be one to stop you. So, how can I help?"
If you could just show me where you saw this figure entering the lake, that would be a good start.
Of course. Yeah, and he basically loads you up with supplies and then takes a quick stop, with where the workers are constructing barricades and things like that, to drop those off, and then leads you to the shore of the lake where there's a series of small docks that kind of jet out just like 25 feet ish into the lake, just enough to get past the initial frozen icy area. And he basically points to a section of beach there and says, "Well, it was right around there, but I lost sight of the figure as soon as they went under, so can't tell you what happened after that."
Well, this is plenty helpful. Thank you, Murdoch. I don't mean to. I don't want to keep you away from your duties any longer than this.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm not much use on my own. Mostly just directing people and providing oversight.
Hell,
I think
we couldn't do this
Tubby,
without you.
Tubby probably needs to follow down with, just in case you run into some trouble. If you don't come back out of the water. I'll just sit on the dock and watch.
Okay.
I won't interfere unless I need to.
Unless you want to.
Murdoch doesn't initially go away. He kind of stands there waiting to see what you're going to do, unless you like try and send him away.
No, I'll just. So this is happening before the long rest, technically, right? I think
Mhm.
I already clicked. I
Yeah,
think
that's right.
rest
I
last
shouldn't have
week,
told you to
but
click the button, I guess.
yeah, but I think I had at least one second level spell slot left. So I'd like to cast enhanceability on myself first.
Okay.
But is this going to be more of a perception survival thing, or is this going to be an investigation thing?
I would say probably a survival thing.
Okay, then I will cast enhance ability on myself, and I will give myself Owl's Wisdom. So I'll have advantage on all wisdom checks. So I do that first, and I kind of sit there and focus, and I'll like lean my staff up against the dock next to Tuppy. Maybe Tuppy can sit on top of it or something, have a nice perch. And I'll kind of wave my hands around, and the snow flurries around and kind of forms this translucent like owl visage over my body, and then just kind of sinks in, kind of the same way with the bear and Embers before, except it's an owl. And then I'll just kind of breathe out and shake my hands out, jump up and down a little bit, try to warm up, take off my winter cloak, fold it up and put it on the dock. I go, okay.
Jump in.
All right, let's do this. I haven't tried this one before. And I'll just start running toward the water, and I will jump to dive. And as I dive, I transform into a walrus.
A walrus. Okay.
Yeah.
What does Elwyn walrus look like?
Well, walruses have very little visible hair. So I guess the coloring of the walrus would be like that slate blue color, the same as like Elwyn's skin, with like the pearlescent white whiskers and peach fuzz kind of everywhere. And her eyes are, of course, the two different colors, golden and ice blue.
With the cutest little waddle you ever saw.
She just cannonballs into the water.
Yeah, with the walrus's stats, I need you to make like a strength check to see how big your wave is.
Sure. Give me a second to pull that up. I did prepare this on my character sheet though. Okay, so just a strength check. All right. Let's see which is going to be my walrus dice tonight. Let's do this one. That is a 9.
So the walrus actually, more gracefully than you'd expect, I suppose, slides into the water, not creating too big of a splash. Tuppence, you would see that Murdoch kind of recoils a bit as the splash is occurring, thinking like in anticipation of getting wet. But then when he realizes he's not been splashed with ice cold water, he kind of stands back up straight. Did you know she could do that? She some sort of a mage of some kind?
Isn't she awesome? I just like to watch her move her hands and watch the snowflakes and the swirls. It's really something to see, spectacular. I'm gonna have to write another ballad about that.
And where did you say you were all from again?
Oh, all over the place.
I've never been outside of Twin Towns. He just kind of nods. He seems like he's very interested in all of this, so he actually kind of stays here with you on the docks, watching the water. Elwyn, you could make a survival or perception check. I think either one, probably. Your choice.
Okay, perception slightly higher. And I get to make it an advantage. Because of
Do walruses have something?
enhance ability, bitch.
Oh, yeah. Why was that so hostile?
Because I was about to say it, and then you were like, do walruses have something? Like, let a woman finish, please. Okay, that's not great. 16.
Okay. You swim off pretty much straight forward from where Murdoch pointed. And I see that walruses can hold their breath for up to 10 minutes. So you search pretty much the first 10 minutes straight along the bottom of the Rhineloch. And it's mostly kind of like a muddy sand and a lot of like, kind of like smoothed river stone type rocks, things like that. There's not a lot of plant life or anything like that, but there are actually a good number of, fish and things like that. Like you see some salmon or some trout, or I don't know what kind of fish would be in this lake, but, something of that variety. Quite a few of them. And so you go that first 10 minutes without really finding much of anything, and you kind of have to surface and dive back down again. What's sort of your pattern as you fan out across the lake? Do you basically just go straight, or do you kind of, go straight and then come back? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go straight for 10 minutes. And if I don't see anything there, then I'll come back in kind of a zigzag pattern, kind of slowly make my way farther out, make it like a big radius around that area.
Okay.
And I can stay in this form for 2 hours.
Yeah. So within that time, it takes a little while. So you go through a number of those zigzags, probably at least the first hour, without finding too much of anything. But then you find at one point a kind of an underwater cave entrance. And roll another perception check.
It's an hour later. I don't have my spell anymore, I don't think. I think that only lasts an hour.
Well, we'll say you got this in just under that hour then. So you can use it.
So I can have advantage.
Yeah.
That's very kind.
Keep your
Thank you.
advantage.
He's a nice DM.
Thank you for being a nice
For
DM.
now.
Until the pendulum swings.
Oh no. Okay, this is, I think, a little bit better. That's a 19.
Okay. As you're kind of swimming into this cave, it strikes you that the water has actually gotten a bit colder here than the rest of the lake bottom. And I mean, it is frigid water to begin with, but your well insulated walrus form and your
that
natural
blubber.
cold resistance as well, that hasn't been too much of a problem for you. But even despite that, you notice here that it does get colder as you kind of go into this cave. And as you go into the cave, you find that there's, how to describe it? It basically becomes a tunnel system that seems to go downward a little bit. And you find that there's a point where, because of the way that the cave tunnel bends, basically it creates a place where the water stops filling the tunnel, and you are able to like flop up onto a dry section of cave within this tunnel system. And there, within this dry section of cave, inside this tunnel system, you see basically, back against the wall of the cavern, there's, just as Murdoch described it, this kind of small metallic safe that has been placed just sort of back out of the way.
Can I check it for traps as a walrus?
Yeah. That would probably be more of an investigation check.
That's fine. Let's see here. 9.
9.
9?
Yeah. You kind of give it a once over with your walrus eyes. You poke it a little bit with your tusks and nothing really happens.
Cool. I'm going to pick it up
If you,
in my mouth.
Okay.
say if you come up for air, bardic inspiration, you can do it, Owen. Elris, Lowen, whatever you want to call it.
Elris. Walrus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait,
You pick it up in your tusks just fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nothing
pick it up.
happens.
Yep. Then I'm just gonna go back.
So this walrus emerges from the lake with this small safe clamped in its jaws, and Murdoch points and he says, "That's it. That's the one. That's the one I made for Albrecht."
Yep. So I'll just like swim up to shore and drop it in the sand next to my staff and transform back into myself and kind of
Murdoch,
shake
do you know
out a
how
little
to
bit.
open it?
I remember the combination from when I created it, but Albrecht could have changed it.
Oh, why don't you give it a try? Unless you think it's trapped or something, or Is it trapped?
Um,
Did you put some kind of a trap on it when you made it, Murdoch?
He kind of shrugs. Not I. So yeah, he'll try and open it up. He kind of sits down next to it and begins fiddling with the little dial on it.
Okay.
And he, clicks through a series of numbers for the combination, and it does not open.
Right. So is there a fail safe that you built into it? A way to get it open if the combination was ever forgotten, or
He just shakes his head at you. Would kind of defeat
Okay.
the purpose of having the
how
safe.
about
don't you
a
think?
weak point? Somewhere that you could apply pressure and make the whole thing just kind of crack apart.
Well,
I read a lot of books about thieves and stuff, so this is all the kind of things I learned from those.
could
I
heat
don't know
my
if that-
forge and
Melted?
melt it. It
Oh.
probably would melt the contents within.
Well, we don't want that, do we? Or do we want to destroy that?
He shrugs.
Well, I think doesn't Rook have like a lockpick set or something? Maybe he can figure out how to get it open. We'll bring it back to the stronghold
between
for now.
him and Embers, and Torin's pretty strong too. Somebody
That's right.
might be
They
able
could
to
just
figure it out.
Smash it or something with a hammer. All right. Well, thank you, Murdoch, so much. I'm glad this is the item in question. There was a little cave out there. Did you know that? Underwater?
And he shakes his head. No,
Yeah.
dwarves are not notorious for their swimming abilities, so I doubt anyone else has.
Been an interesting place for y'all to build a town then. Right next to a lake.
Well, as I understand it, the original founders of Rhymestrand were outcasts, so not much else where to go.
That makes sense.
Well, I'm glad you stayed with us. You're really, really a lot of help.
I feel like I was almost next to no help, but it was interesting to see. That's quite the ability you have, Miss Elwyn. I don't think I've ever seen
it's
anything like
nothing.
that.
Just a little party trick, that's all. But thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, we better get back. See what else, what other people need help. But we've got a lot to do before sundown.
Yeah, he kind of just nods at that and says, "Well, let me know if you want to use my forge." And he goes off to assist the
I will.
crafters
Thank
again.
you. Come on, Tuppy.
Did
We'll
you
go
see
back to-
anything else while you were in that cavern? That's the
Lots
only
of-
thing that was
The
there.
tunnels went on.
Yeah, there were plenty of tunnels down there that went all sorts of places. I bet it would be fun to investigate if we weren't under the imminent threat of attack
Wow.
from the undead.
Well, I'm wondering if one leads all the way to the church. That's what I'm wondering.
Could be. I don't reckon we have time to investigate it now, but we can put it on the list for later.
No, but we'll mention that.
Yeah, that's a
To
good
the group.
idea. Yeah. All right, we'll head back to the stronghold. I'll walk in with a little bit of like a pep to my step, a little bit of a look what I did it. Like victorious saunter into the stronghold. I'll bring it over to Rook and I'll just set it down. Say, think you can get that open?
Yeah, Rook will examine it. And would thieves' tools work to try and pick the
Yeah.
lock?
You think one of your tools in your thieves' tool set would probably
Okay, so he kind of turns it
work on
over
this?
and pulls out his lockpicks, and we'll
And I
give it
will
a shot.
cast guidance on you.
Okay.
You can do it. Bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Vert, as you kind of turn it over in your hands and appraise the safe, you can actually see that it is very well made. I mean, in your time, you've probably seen a lot of safes, back in your time in Vogma. And also you saw the very well made, why am I blanking on it? The gnomes from Freydin who make things. Shoot.
Thimblefoot.
Thimble-
Enterprises.
Thimblefoot safe
Yeah.
that Squall had back in Port Horizon Shroud. And
Yeah.
this safe, it compares. It's
Wow.
really well made.
All right. Yeah, so he'll give a nod to the workmanship, and then he will try and defeat the workmanship.
Do it.
All right, so I have Bardic Inspiration, Guidance, and okay, so that's a D8 for Bardic Inspiration and a D4 for Guidance.
Are you an 8 right
D6.
now or a 6? Yeah.
It's a 6.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so D6 and a D4. Okay. Let's roll those ones first just for funnies, and then we'll do this one. Oh, okay. So guidance was max. 17, 18, 19. And then it's Thieves Tools is just proficiency, right?
Plus your, I would say for this one, your dexterity modifier.
So that's
What's your proficiency bonus?
okay, so that's a 23.
Okay. It takes some time and a little bit of finagling, but eventually, trying out the various different thieves tools you have and different approaches, you find a way to pry the door open
Okay.
with one of your tools. And inside is essentially a stone tablet, which when you pull it out, do any of you read Dwarven?
Embers does, but she's not there.
Hakan, if it's not in your languages list, you can still speak it, I would say,
Okay.
based on Traugrim.
Yeah. I would figure as
Fire
much.
drain.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll read it.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to Hakan.
Was Hakan the only one who had Dwarven as language?
I don't have it, so.
Then yeah, Hakan, as you take it in your hand, you can see that there's basically lines and lines of runes carved into this thing. But each rune is carved with what you can tell is kind of like a different person's chiseling technique. And each one basically reads out a name. And you see some names you recognize as dwarves from the Cold Lake clan. And you would gather that this is probably, doing a quick rough tally, the names of every citizen of Rhymestrand carved into this tablet.
Interesting. How big is this tablet? Jeez.
Well, I mean, the dwarves each have like a personal
symbol.
rune, so
Okay.
it doesn't take a lot of space to carve in their
Okay.
personal rune for their name.
So if this tablet has the names of everybody in Rhymestrand on it, they're pledging their fealty to that jerk from earlier, then we just have to take the names off, right?
Are they magically carved in there? Shall I try to dispel the magic that's on it?
That would also work. I mean, it could. You should give that a try.
Did you have a dispel magic spell slot left? I think you
Well-
used it during the battle.
So we have not checked off the long rest yet then.
Not just yet.
Okay.
I know that I told you to at the end of last episode, but that was a mistake.
Yeah, I probably used it. I know I did use it at the last one. So
I've-
we have to wait.
I have detect magic.
Brooke,
Yeah, I
do
do
you have
too.
any acids or anything in your kits, in your tools, anything that could maybe buff away the signatures manually?
I mean, I have tools that we could like chip away at one of them and see what it does. But
Yeah, just change the name, add a line, make it a different letter. Or put an X through it or something.
yeah,
It's worth a
I don't know.
shot.
Should we check in with Murdoch or the mayor first? Or I guess the mayor's name isn't on here, is it?
Um,
Oh, Rhymestrand.
no, the Mayor Gilead's name
mom.
would not be on there.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, are they both present at this point in the town?
Yeah, they could be.
Easy to be gathered and ask
Yeah.
just for.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we should check in with them, see if they know anything about this magic before we start altering it.
Well, I think Ember's already got a good account from. This is just me, player, remembering last week's game. Ember's got a pretty good account from Murdoch already, right? And he didn't really know what happened.
None of them really understand. I think like if they knew anything about this magic, they wouldn't have signed their own names.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't know if we'd get anything extra out of Murdoch by talking to him, and I don't know if
I can also.
The one thing
Still
I'll
doesn't
say,
know anything,
as you've
but-
been coming in and out of the stronghold, each of you could roll a perception check here if you wanted to.
Sure.
21.
Yeah, I got a 12.
12, okay.
16.
Uh, 17.
Nice. And is Ember's not around?
I'm not around. I'm
Okay.
doing stuff.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to say. Yeah, I think probably then each of you would have noticed, now that you've seen this thing, looking around the stronghold, you can actually find throughout different places in here, stones like this, stone tablets like this have been built into the walls of the stronghold. And it looks like they go back quite a while. They're all very similar. Some of them, you might see some familiar names, like from the oldest dwarves in town. But yeah, you would gather that this is sort of a tradition that, when a new mayor takes over the town, all the citizens sort of chisel their rune into one of these, and then they build it into the stronghold. So yeah, you notice that.
So they do know about the tablet. That is a normal thing. But what he asked about the "what can you offer me" question, and this is, unless did Embers tell us this portion of it?
Yeah, I told
Yeah,
you
okay.
about the whole thing.
Okay, cool. So then that question is the thing that's weird, right?
Yeah, that's what Murdoch
So,
said was
got
weird.
it. Okay, so yeah, if it's a traditional thing, I still think we should probably ask,
Yeah,
Gilead.
that's a good idea.
right? Just I don't want to I know that he's not the mayor anymore. He's been kind of, he ran away, but
And
If you
also
want to-
cast identify on it.
If you want to.
Do you want me to?
yeah, maybe we do that on the way to grab Gilead.
I need to remind myself what identify does.
Be here in the stronghold with us, though, wouldn't she?
Oh, is she?
Or is
Is
she
she
helping
here?
outside?
I think
She
she's
might-
probably
maybe she's,
helping
like, back and
outside,
forth
but
or
it'd be
something,
easy
but-
enough to get her to come to you. So
Yeah.
that's no problem.
People coming going, hey, can you get Gilead? Come in here.
Learn the properties and how to use them and whether it requires attunement to use, how many charges it has. I learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, I learn which spell created it.
Okay.
Yeah,
As you cast this spell and kind of tune into this tablet, there is it's almost like you can feel shadows creeping at the edges of your vision, but you look and you see that they're not there, and they just get darker and darker on the fringes of your vision as the room itself seems to dim around you, but you're the only one perceiving that effect. You tune into the item and it's strange because there's clearly some magic about it, but you don't think that it's like a magic item in the sense that it has a function that you can use, and you don't think that it was created necessarily by a spell. You don't get any sense like that, but there is some powerful magic tied to it, and what I'll tell you is it seems extra planar. It doesn't seem like it's from this world. And the rest of you, as you see Tuppence kind of identifying this item, you notice that her pan flute begins to glow slightly. And there's kind of this haunting note that plays off of it. But Tuppence, in your focus on this item, you don't hear that.
Okay.
Just this low whistle from the pan flute.
All right. I guess when she's done, then I'll tell her about the pan flute. Say, your pan flute was acting up when you were doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What if it's my mom? But I can't contact her right now. My mom probably knows something about this because it's weird. And I explained about it, not being a particular spell and
hmm
how extra planar it feels.
Okay.
I wonder if there's anyone in town who can dispel magic the way you can, Tuppy.
Well, if Gilly says we can just, break it, maybe that's the best dispelling we could do. Just
Or
smash
yeah,
into a
scratch
million
the names
pieces.
out or something. Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know.
Melt it
I
down.
don't know what she'd know about the magic that's affecting this thing if this is a new strange thing, but I mean, we can ask.
She'd know more about the tradition. Maybe that's something else she could help us with. Great.
Okay. Someone brings Gilead to you, and after you've sort of explained, because she wasn't present for the ceremony, what everyone experienced and what you felt when you tried to identify this tablet, she kind of shakes her head and says, "Well, you're right about one thing. I don't know much about any of the magic that you're talking about that might be affecting this, but as you've surmised, yes, these tablets are a thing we create every time a new mayor takes over Rhymestrand. I have one. It's built into the stronghold just there," and she points sort of over by the hearth, where there's a similar tablet of names carved into the wall that looks a little bit older. Albrecht's reign as mayor was short, and it seems like it was fraught with duplicity. He may have been my son, but I don't think it's I don't think it's a long shot to say he didn't really deserve his tenure. Though I will give him credit for protecting the town from these monsters in my stead. Do what you will with the tablet. It's fine. He never built it into the stronghold anyways, so it's not fully official anyways.
Okay. So yeah, I think we should try Elwyn's strategy and carve out, just kind of like X out one of the names, and maybe if they're around, that person's around, we can like see if they feel any different after we do so.
Sure. And you've got like stone carver's tools or something. If not, you can get them from Murdoch.
Yeah,
He's got tons of tools.
I have smith's tools, jewelers,
Yeah,
tinkers.
sure. One of those would work.
And, and I'm an artificer, so I can make whatever tools I need.
Oh, and there's that.
Yeah, so I have all tools.
Start with Murdoch, because then he could help you out a bunch.
Yeah, if he's okay
He
with
gets
it,
his skills back.
All right. So we can check with Murdoch, say, hey, we're gonna cross your name out and see what happens.
Yeah.
He like blows up or dies or something.
You cross
That'd
him
be-
out of existence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be unfortunate.
Well, let's ask for his permission first. Do you care if we do this? Cross your name out of the.
Yeah, I mean, he gives you permission.
right.
He just basically reiterates, I don't understand a thing about what you're trying to do, but be my
Okay.
guest. So,
Yeah. So let's give it a shot.
when you etch out the rune that corresponds to Murdoch's name,
Mhm.
there's a
Please don't die.
yeah, Murdoch drops dead of a heart attack. You basically death noted him. No. There's basically a small like coalescing of shadow around the rune that just then disperses and goes away. And Murdoch kind of looks to the group of you and says, "Well, I don't feel any different, but
Maybe,
should I?
I don't know, try what you couldn't do before, I guess.
I'm making something spectacular.
Well, that's a tall order, but let me see what I can do."
From what I hear, you can do it.
Yeah, he goes back to his workshop and emerges a little bit later. What could he make in just a short time?
Right arrow. How about a little spear for Tuppy? A little dagger.
No, he'd probably do something that he could make with wood. Yeah, he'll have made Tuppence like a tiny little wooden sword. And when he brings this out and sort of offers it to Tuppence, you can see that there's like fine detail chiseled into this thing. Mostly imagery of like little fairy wings, like butterfly wings and things like that, and flowers. and it is just expertly carved into this tiny, tiny, tiny little sword.
Well, that is what I would call spectacular, sir.
It is. It's beautiful.
It's strange. I don't feel any different, but it does feel as if there's I don't know. When I picked up my tools, it was like there was like a lethargy, or some sort of something was blocking me from, I can't explain it, but I was able to do it again. He kind of gestures again to the little sword. So I guess whatever you did, it worked.
All
And he
right,
kind
let's
of-
start striking the other names off this tablet and get everybody back to 100%.
Would it be faster to break the tablet at this point?
I have a warhammer. Does
He
max
has a-
damage
he
to
has a warhammer.
objects. Yeah.
Ember's. Oh, she's not here. I was thinking she had that awesome spell.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would probably be the fastest. And then also to kind of.
Murdoch like gestures to his anvil, which is just sitting there.
All right, I'll place it on the anvil. Hakan.
Okay. Here we go.
You don't have to roll the hit, but your hammer does max damage against objects, you said?
Yeah.
What would that be, just out of curiosity?
It'd be 14.
14. He places the tablet is placed on the anvil, and you kind of sidle up with your hammer. Bargeron, you hear in your head
Oh
says,
God.
do you really think we can just break this thing? I don't know. There's weird magic going on there.
I mean,
Um,
I'm scared too. Gosh.
I don't know that we have to be afraid. It's just, I don't know, strange, powerful magical objects like this don't often break, but I mean, I guess it's worth a try.
It's worth a shot, I guess. If it had like a dispel magic or something, I think that'd be easier, but oh God, this is so bad. I guess are we gonna go for it?
Or we can just do the regular
Uh,
thing the other time.
I'll help. I'll try and help. Okay, let's do it. On the
Let's
count of
try
3.
it.
1, 2, go.
3. Oh no.
And as you swing the hammer, it comes down on this anvil with a like thunderous, like there's like a thunderclap
Oh.
that echoes out across, throughout the forge area. And you watch as, starting right where the hammer struck, there's a tiny, tiny crack that appears. And then that crack it's bigger and bigger and spider webs out. And as it does so, shadows fly from within the tablet and just
Jeez.
out the doors of the forge and up into the sky of Rhymestrand. And when this spiderweb crack finally ends, the tablet just turns to like stone dust and crumbles on the anvil. And the final thing I'll say is anyone who was beholding this, roll a perception check.
18.
Hakan,
you would, I would say with the exception of you, sorry, because you.
Oh, okay. You're
One
right.
hammer.
Right.
12.
19.
natural 20.
Okay,
that's a
so
24.
Tuppence and Vert, you two see something. Vert, I would say, I mean, my best guess is that you notice this because anytime this hammer is in use, you've got that keen attention on it. Tuppence, you've just got a good eye. You see when the hammer blow falls, in the second it makes contact with the anvil itself, there's like a brief flash of an image on the other side of Hakan of what looks to be a dwarven woman wearing just kind of like, plain leathers and things like that. She's actually dressed kind of like a blacksmith would dress. And she's got the sort of blacksmithing gloves and things like that. And she has 2 hands on the hammer itself as well. And she's swinging down with Hakan to smack this thing. And as the crack begins to form right there. She just kind of makes this, she basically smiles briefly as she looks at Hakan, and then the image fades. You don't see it anymore.
Did you guys see that?
I saw it. That's pretty cool.
You have like a weird kind of shadow that comes out of that. Does it live in the hammer?
What are you
Bardrin
talking
says,
about?
Bardrin says in your head, wait, what? Did they notice me somehow?
I don't know.
How is that possible?
That's super weird.
Your shadow, Tuppy? What are you talking about?
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen next to your stuff. There's like this woman holding the hammer.
Would Hakan reveal this?
Sure.
I think he would tell him about it.
Right,
Maybe
you
not
saw
like
it. I'm not crazy.
If,
I
if
mean,
you're
I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy.
if you're doubting it internally, Bardrin says, I have no idea how they could possibly have
seen that.
noticed me within here, but I mean, I don't see any problem with telling them if you want to.
Yeah.
They've been
I'm-
trustworthy so far.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'll tell him about Trogrim and the history behind it.
What all do you say?
Oh god, I have a whole entire paragraph, just lore. Do you want me to read it out for him?
It's up to you how much Hakan would tell them.
Okay.
Or I can summarize for them if you just want to tell them everything.
Yeah, I don't see a problem in just telling him everything about the history behind it.
Okay. And where you kind of have gaps in your memory of the history of it, Bardrin will kind of help fill you in and kind of guide the story. Hakan basically sits the group of you down and begins to tell you about how this hammer, which he calls Traugrim, which means last hope in Dwarven, was forged just long ago, like hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, by a Dwarven smith named Bardrin Anvilheart. And how the Anvilheart clan had been kind of beset by this evil dragon and were bent into his service. And basically they were being exterminated at the dragon's cruel whims, and they were not going to survive. And so Bardrin basically sacrificed her life and infused the hammer with her own soul in order to lay a powerful curse on it. And then the dwarves of her clan offered it to the dragon as part of his horde. And the dragon took it into his horde and fell under the sway of the curse and was unable to leave his lair. It basically implanted this fear in the dragon of leaving his lair. And the plan was that the dwarves of Clan Anvilheart would wait until the dragon was sufficiently weakened, and then they would attack the lair while the dragon was weak, and they would slay it. But the dwarves were too hasty. They rushed into it. They didn't wait long enough, and the dragon was still strong enough when they invaded the lair, and the clan was basically decimated. And so pretty much ever since then, Bardrin, or at least for a long time after that, Bardrin was forced to pretty much live within this hammer as part of the dragon's horde until eventually that dragon was slain by a powerful hero. And then after that, basically she was within them all, passed around hand to hand to various different owners of the hammer, and eventually found her way into Hakon's hands. And ever since then, she has been with him. And that's the story you get.
And she was always able to communicate with whoever owned the hammer at the time.
pretty much.
Wow. What a brave soul.
Though to be fair, I
It's
never
great.
really wanted to communicate with too many of them. I pretty much stayed quiet for most of the time. Spend this long in a hammer and you lose a bit of yourself eventually. So I don't know, I wasn't myself for a long time.
I'll communicate that to the party as well. What she's
I've got to
telling
say,
me.
it's kind of weird to hear you just repeat my words to people. No one has known about me or been able to interact with me except for you in so long.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't fully understand it. How they even saw you.
It's an amazing history. Can you tell her I admire her strength and courage to
Of
save her
course.
people?
Absolutely. Can she hear the
I can
outside?
hear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't
You can
sure.
tell her thank you. I mean, ultimately it didn't work, so yeah, it was kind of a failed plan. But you know, I always wanted to be able to do something to help other dwarves. Ever since I was stuck in that dragon's horde, feeling useless for all those years. And I feel like we, here today, finally get to do something to help a group of dwarves. And I don't know, Hakan, if you could tell them all thank you for me, I guess.
Absolutely. I
I'd
will.
really appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah, I'll tell everyone. Thank you for helping us and all these dwarves.
What a strange phenomenon to have someone speaking into your mind.
Yeah,
You get used to it.
You just feel Nyadon, who's been pretty silent for a while, just go in the back of your mind, just kind of rumble subtly.
I didn't say it was a bad one. Maybe it is. I'm sure you do get used to it.
Wow. Okay, so I wonder if this worked.
Oh, yeah.
Test it out, I guess.
Let's go
Right.
talk
Yeah.
to people. What did the shadows look like when they were leaping away?
Kind of formless.
Hmm.
Though you rolled a pretty high perception check. I will give you that some of them kind of looked wolf or hound like in shape.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Like how Zal kind of turned into a puddle, like a black puddle. Connection? Okay.
So
yeah.
also quickly, how do you spell Bardrum?
Oh, Bardryn.
Nice. Good job. Yeah, so I guess we can quickly ask and interrogate a couple people that were on the list and say, hey, do you feel like you want to try that thing you couldn't do before type of thing?
And yeah, you go to a couple people. Most of them don't really know what you're talking about.
Like the person who made bread or whatever. Like
yeah,
that.
Murdoch kind of
Murdoch,
explains a little bit what all. Yeah, and you figure out it worked.
Sweet. Okay.
People of the town seem to be back to normal.
All right.
What has Embers been up to this whole time? Anything important?
I don't think so. I think kind of just like lending hand with whatever fortifications she can.
Okay. In that case, is there anything that the rest of you want to do or talk about, or should we talk about the fortifications and defenses that you build?
Did want to go and talk to names.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. What's his face? Albrecht's right hand man.
Oh yeah. Brotor.
That's it. I want to go talk to him.
Yep. He is currently in jail.
Yep.
Sharing a cell with, let's see how many dwarves are in his cell. He has 3 other dwarves in his cell. But yeah, you can go talk to him. He's basically, all of them are awake now. And when you come in, basically there's this tumultuous, look who it is. It's the jerks who put us in here. Just kind of this like loud grumbling from all of them.
Well, it's a pleasure. I would say it's a pleasure to see you too, but I really don't like lying.
Get out of here.
Is that how you're going to be? Because I was coming in here with a proposition for you, but if you want to stay in here the rest of your lives, I can arrange that real easily.
Roll your choice of charisma based check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'll do persuasion. Ooh, that's very good. That's good. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. Like a lot of them don't really look like they're going to be cooperative, but they do kind of quiet down after that. Like all of the jeering stops for the most part, and they just kind of go grumbling to their corners of their cells. But Brotor comes, over to the cell door, and he's recognizable by his big bushy ginger beard. Most of these dwarves are probably pretty much like covered in their own blood and stuff.
Oh, no.
But he comes to the jail cell and says, "All right, fine. Talk. Proposition. What do you want?"
Well, I want to know about Albert and where he got that weird power and that
Oh,
creepy
you want me to
tablet that
snitch
he
on my
used?
friend?
Well, I want you to give me the information I need so that I can make sure that this town is protected.
What's in it for me?
Well, do you want to get out of here or not?
Yeah, we'll get out of here eventually anyways.
Will you? I'm pretty good at negotiating, and I think there's a life sentence in this for you if you don't cooperate.
He kind of thinks about it. Well, at the very least, I wouldn't mind staying in here one more night. From the sounds of it, you're going to have something, you're going to have a pretty tough night ahead of the group of you. Albrecht was the only thing keeping this town safe, him and the rest of us. So without us, I don't know what's going to happen to you. What's the use of dealing with you if you're all going to be dead tomorrow?
Well, I think if we can handle you, we can handle them.
Yeah, we'll see.
So talk. Where did Albrecht get these weird powers, and how did he give you these masks that give you these weird powers, and how is this all connected? I know he used to spend time in that church.
He kind of gives you a long, hard look and says, "I'm still not hearing anything in it for me besides you getting me out of here. And I'm pretty confident we'll get out of here eventually, nonetheless."
Well, regardless of what you think, word travels fast. So we just have to put a whisper on the wind to let Albrecht know that you snitched on him anyway. And then we'll see who is more forgiving.
He wouldn't believe it. But one of the other dwarves in one of the other cells pipes up, "I'll talk. If you let me out, I'll talk." And Brotor's like, "Shut up. Don't you say a word."
All right, Sugar, what do you got to say to me? What do you know?
Well, look, I don't know much, but Albrecht said that there was he called him I gotta check my notes, hold on. The great beast. He said he met someone, the great beast. I don't know, he met him at the church or somewhere. I don't know all the details. And Brotor is basically over there like, shut up as this guy is talking, but he keeps going on. And Albrecht got his power from that guy, and all that guy needed was skills and talents and junk like that. But if we signed on with Brotor and Albrecht, then we didn't have to give up any talents. And we got some magic too. I don't know. It seemed like a good deal. And I mean, I could throw fireballs. I could never do that before. So
yeah, that was very impressive.
Yeah. But we did have to wear the weird wolf masks. I don't really know what that was about, but we all did it. Zal was around, big wolf fella.
Oh yeah, we took care of him.
Only sometimes he wasn't around. Like he'd go to the church with Albrecht, but then Albrecht would come back and Zal wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Is any of this helpful? Can I come out now?
It's all extremely helpful. It really is. Thank you so much. And I will talk to the mayor about getting you released. Lickety split. Now, do you like hot cocoa? Because I know there is some hot cocoa going around back there, and I can make sure you get some.
When you say like you can talk to the mayor about getting him out, he kind of like looks around at his cellmates who are now like, putting like they're like making menacing gestures at him. You sure you can't like could I get out now and like have that cocoa now?
Well,
maybe.
Sugar, I didn't bring the keys. I'm not that dumb.
He's like backing into a corner as his cellmates are just looking at him menacingly. Okay, just hurry then, I guess.
But if more of you talk, then maybe I can get someone to bring the keys right now and let you out right now. What do you say? What other information you
Brotor
got
just
for me?
shouts, "None of the rest of you say a word!" And Fred, you're dead to us.
I do have one question though, Sugar, talking to the one that's being so helpful.
Uh-huh.
This great beast that Albrecht met, was this before or after the attack started happening on the town?
He's looking pretty nervous at this point. But he's like, before, I think, before?
Before?
Yeah.
That is extremely helpful. Thank you. And I just turn and walk out.
Okay. Yeah, you hear the heavy thud of like a punch connecting with someone's gut, and just someone going, "Oh!" As you leave. But angry dwarves be angry, I guess.
Yeah. I'll make a mental note to talk to the mayor after this is all over. But I'll have some hot chocolate sent in now.
Fred's gonna be dead by the time this happens.
I was about to say, hey Ellen, what was this dude's name? What are you gonna tell the mayor? Who helped you?
I would go in with her and point him out.
Brotor did say like, Fred, shut up.
Yeah.
So
he said Fred.
I guess his name is Fred or
His
Frederick,
name
maybe.
is Fred.
Who knows?
Drop dead Fred.
Okay, yeah, then I will share that with the rest of the group. I think it pretty much solidifies what we suspected anyway, but it's good information to have.
Fredwin Cold Lake. I didn't see his name on the tablet.
It's on there. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No.
No, he didn't offer anything.
Nope.
That's interesting.
I mean,
though.
I guess his name would be on there, but he wouldn't have offered anything.
Okay.
Is the way that would have worked.
Okay.
So.
Honestly, I'm not really surprised by that information, but it's
good to have confirmation
really good.
of what
Yeah.
we were already suspecting.
Anybody know any lore about a great beast, Takan? You heard anything?
Oh yeah, I was gonna actually ask if I recognized that at all.
Would all of you roll, or all of you who want to roll Arcana checks?
Arcana, huh? Not history. Okay.
I guess history would be applicable to, Arcana or history. You might get different things depending on what you roll.
Okay,
13.
well, that's a 10 history check.
Got a 6.
I got a 16 on history.
16. So none of the rest of you recall much of anything. And it doesn't ring a bell to Bardrin either.
I will say that my proficiency bonus is from the person in my head. If that helps you.
Interesting. Let me think if Nyadon would have any reason to be particularly knowledgeable about this. No. But Vert, as you're thinking about it, I don't think that, like, it might ring a little bit of a bell, but it doesn't, like, you can't connect the name to any of these like shadow creatures or anything like that. It might ring a bell for you from some like strange book you read, from way back in your time in Vogma, but unfortunately, I think you would have needed higher than a 16 to get any information about this.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so that doesn't raise any suspicion with anyone. We're like,
Well, I mean, I don't think this is a good thing, whatever it is. It seems like a pretty shady deal that seemed good.
yeah,
But I reckon there's a connection to whatever's attacking the town too. Something that Albert played with that he shouldn't have been playing with.
yeah, certainly sounds that way given the turn of events and I guess the order of events.
Well, they don't have the talents anymore. So I wonder if that will affect things tonight.
I hope so. I hope that was a big, large portion or a big player into this. But I guess we'll find out.
Okay. Anything else that the group of you want to talk about or do, or should we talk about fortifications?
I'm ready to talk about fortifications.
Okay. I'll drag you over to the map of the town. That oh, you're already on there. Never mind. So this is the one that I was thinking about. What do you guys? And I'll say that these kind of roads leading to the south. If you can see the ones that I'm pinging on Roll20, lead towards the stronghold, and undead creatures will probably be coming from sort of those other two roads for the most part, based on the direction of the church and all of that.
Okay. Let me switch the map over here. There we go.
Do we have any like archers or anyone with a bow? Or anyone skilled with it at least?
Most of the dwarven militia are using like axes and hammers and things like that. And the wardens might have like hand crossbows, I suppose. A few of them would. But for the most part, they're using like swords. And then there's the magic users from Glimmercairn, the old folks who have magic. But they don't seem to have any, bows or anything like that on them.
I was thinking we
So-
could just set them up on like the roof or something.
Could we make those fences that are pointy on top and crisscrossed?
Oh, little barricades? Yeah, easily.
I
Block
think
I
off
think I
the
might-
two roads heading south or whatever it is down
how
the map.
how big of a like fortifications? How much do you think we can manage in the long rest time frame?
Well, I mean, working with the dwarves, and especially now that Murdoch has his talents back, I'll let you know when you hit the limit. But I mean, pretty much. I mean, you've got like all kinds of wood from the glimmer wood across the way,
Yeah.
and you could repurpose stones and things like that from buildings here. So
Yeah, I think Nick had an idea in the DM list chat that I really liked. And I'm looking for it. Unless do you remember what it was, Nick? It was like pitfalls or something, or
Oh, trying to lure them into an alley where we could like fire onto them from above or something.
kill boxes. That's what.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so you could like build some walls along this. In fact, you could build like walls of logs and things like that that channel them this
Mhm.
direction, and then you could be like on top of this big building here or something like that if you wanted to.
Like that one.
Did we get the indication that they can climb structures pretty easily? Or are they
That's
pretty
a
mindless?
bit unknown.
Well, I figured that
Yeah.
they've attacked the town a few times, right? Like,
That's true. Okay, then yeah, the dwarves of Rhymestrand would be able to tell you that there have been times when they constructed a few like simple wooden barricades and things like that. And while it was slower than how fast they move otherwise, they were able to climb over those barricades without too much hassle.
okay. So, dang it, I had ideas with Fairy, but Yeah, I mean, channeling them would be great. If there's ways to do like, if we could have like, um, yeah, barricades that you could like reach spears through and stuff like that, or shoot arrows through, or ways to sort of like knock them off the walls if they're climbing up.
Well, the group of you, if you want to, you can just basically begin drawing stuff on this map. And I can try and fill it in with better looking assets later. But in the meantime, you can pretty much just draw things where you want them.
Okay. So what do you guys think about where we should kind of hole up? Do you want to be on top of that building, or do you want to be like in the alleyway and just kind of like build around us, or what sounds?
Well, remember that that one thing that they had where they throw down this great big ball. I can't remember if it had spikes on it or whatever. You throw it down and it goes from side to side and it knocks down all the people trying to climb up. I don't know what you call that.
I'm not sure what that's called either. But yeah, I mean, if we could have some sort of contraption that we could swing around, or some way to like kind of
Because
push them off walls.
then if it's
Between the buildings, yeah.
on a chain, then you can pull it back up and
Oh,
do
are
it
you
again.
talking about on for that demonic wagon thing that we had, where we were like swinging that thing around and hitting them? That, or something
I
else?
can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
It's like a great big mall, but it's like something you use on the top of a building that you throw down. It's attached to the top of the building,
Okay.
like to the roof.
Been
Oh,
watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately. I feel
Is
like
that part of
comes
that?
up. I feel like that comes up when they're guarding the wall.
Well, that's an idea.
it is
Yeah,
an
we're
idea.
Up.
Yeah, I think being, if they are slower to climb, then I think being up higher would be beneficial personally.
Okay, I've put you guys on the roof. Do you guys want ladders like on the backside here that you can climb up and down easily? Because
They
only
might
Embers
need
has a
'em.
climb speed.
Yeah, I think ladders would be good in
Yeah.
case something happens.
Okay.
If we need to go up or down.
How tall is the building?
This building is probably the roof's probably like 20 feet off the ground.
Okay. That should give us a good amount of time.
We'll put some ladders like here and here, we'll say.
Oh, if we're going out to help with the fortifications at the end of our long rest, I'll be able to use a spell called Snare to plant a couple traps. But they're like, it's like I can catch one monster per first level spell slot that I cast. So I don't know if it's worth it, or if we just set up a bunch of manual traps or dig a pit or something.
Yeah, I'd save your slots.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
save
There
it
could be
too.
so many monsters.
Yeah.
I will not prepare that then.
Yeah, a thing I was thinking about, and I know we've kind of ruled it out a bit. Well, it's probably not a good idea.
But yeah, I think building like the walls a little higher around the roof. Or wait, Nick, what's that called? Is it a topper or is a? Sorry. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, if we can build up walls
Like
higher,
a little bit of a battlement
yes,
around there.
yes, and then that way we have, if it's like a battlement that we can have access to it, so we can like kind of Melissa's idea of having a way to hit them with something so they get brushed off or knocked off or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely create like a big swinging object along one of these walls.
Windshield wiper action.
Do you want to say along, oops,
Probably the longest wall, right? Whichever way would have the most action and the longest wall. If they're going to come from the north, maybe that one. If it's just I guess it's a square, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we make them flammable so we can set them on fire?
So we had the alcohol that we can use.
all of Hakon's alcohol from the tavern.
Molotov
It's
cocktails,
up-
anyone?
It's up to him though, if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I'll sacrifice my alcohol
I
for it.
was I was
Yeah,
really
if you guys
hoping-
want to create
Yeah.
Molotov cocktails, you can basically have a supply of like alchemist's fires. That's an item up here on the roof with you if you wanted to.
Okay.
Ethan, would you be okay with stretching like a wire between these two buildings, like the one we're on and the one between all the spike traps down there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We
I think-
Sly Coopering this shit. Going across on the wire between the buildings.
Like Embers definitely could,
Yeah.
Zip line.
and it'd be easier than jumping down and
Mm.
climbing back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was wondering if we should spread
Thank you.
out too, if there should be 1 or 2 people on this bottom roof anyway.
Given what the citizens know, or I guess the previous defense attempts, would they have any
Mhm.
suggestions for fortifications or What's
Their
worked in the
attempts were
past?
not terribly successful. Like people were dying, so not really.
Well, I guess they
Unfortunately.
could probably help veto anything that they're like that wouldn't work because we tried that type of thing, right? So if
They
we're
haven't. I mean, all the stuff you've suggested so far is like stuff that they have not tried.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Like building up ramparts on a roof. That's not something they would have done.
okay.
Thinking we
And-
should place some strategically placed bonfires too.
Yeah.
where
If
you want 'em.
anything, to ward them away from certain areas or to
So-
guide them.
Yeah, I was wondering if we wanted to do something like that too. If we wanted to actually build sort of like a ramp that's actually more of like a trap, or like how intelligent they would be. They're like, hey, that I can get up there easier, and then we're like, haha, it's loaded with fire. Like,
Or
do
if
they,
they're just like so
Trip
stupid,
wires that trigger.
yeah. they'll just like walk through the fire and then just catch everything on fire.
I mean, they were walking into the wall of fire, which is why they were screaming, right? So they're probably
True.
pretty dumb.
At least some
Yeah.
of them were. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we set like bonfires like here and here, then they'd be like running through the bonfires to get
Sorry,
to the
I missed it.
barricades.
Where and where?
I'm pinging still.
I don't see it. I don't see your. Oh, I see the pings now. Oh, down there. Oh, I see.
Well, we could put them in multiple places, but at least they'd run through the fire to get to the barricade that way if they wanted to go that way. And if they decide that they're going to avoid the fire, then maybe it keeps them from going into town that way.
Hmm. Well, we do have plenty of wood. So, and is this house made completely out of stone?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part.
So if we lit a fire right next to it, it wouldn't catch fire?
Nope.
So maybe also if we have a whole bunch of logs, I mean, we could literally just light a wall of fire along like one of the sides of the building too.
Yeah.
Or 2. We could do like 2 sides of the building that's just some logs that are stacked on top, and we just light them on fire when they see them coming, and then it just like burns for a long time.
Which sides do you want to have fiery logs on?
What do you guys think? I think the right side might be good since it'd be probably up to all the sides except the bottom one, I guess. Could have that
Why
option.
don't you
but-
draw on the map where you're thinking?
All right,
You do it. I'm just gonna.
1 second. Let me get my.
And you said that they're coming from the north and the east?
For the most part, I mean,
Okay.
if you don't do something to like block off this direction over here, they could potentially come from over there as well.
That didn't work.
Okay.
Had this problem before with roll 22. Nope, that didn't work either. Yeah,
Zach.
it's not working. I'll have to just do.
It's okay.
Also
I
just
can
do it with
draw
my
them for you
mouse.
if you want.
So like we
Oh,
could
you
have
got it.
them
Sweet.
here, here,
Darn it.
here. Oh, you too?
Drawing,
Yeah.
yeah, drawing on roll 20 is so hard sometimes.
Well, I'm trying to use this, and you have to like, it's weird. Yeah, it doesn't really work that well. So, but
For
yeah,
those without the visual, he was trying to use a stylus pen and it was not working.
actually, it's a magic wand. But yeah, same thing. So I guess at that point, we could have them lit at any time if we have the like alchemist fires, right? We could just be like, all right, this side's getting a little heavy, and just like drop the alchemist fire on the logs.
Yeah, if you
So-
like soaked them with alcohol or something.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe that's
And
a
we also have that guy Fritz.
I will tell you what I'm going to do
Touch
with
him.
Fritz is I'm going to build him into your reinforcements. So Will, to explain reinforcements to you, they're a kind of a custom thing I do. Basically, when there's going to be too many allies involved in a battle and I don't want to deal with them, I create a set of reinforcements options. And basically, any one of you players can decide on your turn, I want to use one of the reinforcements options, and then the effect happens. And so I can actually, I'll show you the ones I have right now for this so that you can get an idea. And I will add one for Fritz to this as well. But basically, it's things like you can get one of your allies to make an attack against an enemy, or you can, for example, these mages from Glimmercairn can teleport you guys around using misty portals. The Hammer Priest of Moradin can do some healing for you. Torin can interpose his shield to block attacks, things like that. So I will, in fact, probably what I would say is your Fire Genasi friend, you can basically make an attack and have it be fire damage, I would say, if you wanted to.
Sounds great.
Whether that's him like lighting, other people's weapons on fire so that they can make the attack, or him like hurling a bonfire or something like that. Yeah.
Sweet.
I like it.
Good.
Good idea hiring him.
Or
Embers.
should
Nick.
we construct some kind of a barricade on this side too?
If you wanted to.
I think we need to like funnel them a little bit.
Do you
Yeah.
want the spiky barricades, or do you want kind of like burning logs like you had around the house?
What do you guys think?
So
I'm partial to the spikes because you can always set those on fire too.
This is true.
That's true.
fire, man. If Harmony was here, so
This is her jam.
yeah. Well, I'd
I
also
always
like to
forget how
funnel
you
them,
rotate things.
but I don't know. I can't think of a good way to do it.
I can't either.
What I'm more concerned with than funneling is like drawing them away from the south and the stronghold.
Hmm. Keeping them here, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, what did the people of Rhymestrand have any idea of how they?
Nope. This is
No.
up to you.
Okay.
So we don't care if they come from this direction then, as long as they're coming
To
toward us
us,
and not
yeah.
down
Right.
this way.
Right.
Yeah.
So the barricades are probably better spent off the map in like a radius or a circumference around the stronghold, like
Sort of
any
bringing them
road,
this way.
any road that leads to the stronghold can be blocked off by
Yeah.
barricades.
Okay.
Sure.
That works for me. Any other sort of ideas? With what you've made so far, you're probably getting towards the end of what you have as far as like time for setting things up. But if you have a couple last minute things you wanted to add.
In Glimmercairn, how do people light their homes with like lamps, like oil lamps, gas lamps,
So
um
a lot of them use magical lights over there. Yeah.
okay. I would like to make sure as many of those homes are lit and look like as possible to kind of draw like half the enemy force away, looking for like victims in Glimmercairn that aren't there.
That should be possible. That should be possible. I mean, there's a chance that that will just delay them coming this direction, but
Also good.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
also good. So, okay, cool. Any other last minute ideas?
I'm fresh out of everything.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Can we break that little tiny body of water at the top?
And just make it a puddle. It's just basically a
Yeah.
frozen puddle. So
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to use the ice tool in my map making software because I think it looks really cool.
It does.
It does. It does.
It does.
Yeah, that's the only reason that's there.
Okay.
Cool. In that case, let's see if I can pull this off.
Man, there is, sorry to do this, but like there's one thing that's been bugging me this whole time. Is that like we know everything that's, I don't want to say we know everything because we don't, there's a lot about Alric we don't know, but we have a lot of information about Alric and we have like some pretty good idea that he's tied to all this, but there's still those two like gnome silhouettes that we don't know anything about, and it's bugging me that we don't know anything about them.
Might have
I
to go
wanna-
check out the church after this.
Well, I want to do that, and I want to maybe just ask Tywin if she knows any, if that like rings any bells with her.
Oh yeah. When you bring that up with her, she kind of thinks for a second. No, I mean, I don't know of any of our citizens that go towards the church. I mean, unless there's a funeral or they're visiting the grave of a loved one or something like that. I don't know of anyone who from our town ever really goes to the church. In fact, I think most people in town kind of avoid it. I know I personally do. It's kind of a weird and creepy place.
Mhm.
Site check.
Yep, roll it.
All right. Let's see. Not great. 15.
Yeah, I'll roll one too. Wasn't worse.
I was
Um,
maintaining the tradition of rolling below a 10 on my best stat.
Oh, you do with that think that like when she's doing the thinking, motions and things like that, like it looks like she's genuinely racking her brains and trying to be helpful. You don't sense any deception. Well, I mean, listen, if we get through this and we survive the night and you want to go check out the church, I'd be willing to go with you myself. I mean, if there's more of these monsters there by the time we get there, I might not be a ton of help, but with the group of you around, I've seen how strong you are. I'm sure it would be fine. If you want to go check it out after all of this, I'll do what I can to help you.
When you fought them before and you defeat one, do they ever reanimate?
She kind of like thinks again. I wouldn't say that I have ever defeated one of these things. According to my warden captain, though, I mean, when they go down, they tend to stay down. So
That's something.
have you ever seen a creature like that reanimated after it went down, after it died?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of worst case scenarios. I'm so scared.
Well, I'm sure we'll be okay. We have all of these, these fine dwarven warriors, and I've got my little circle of friends from back in Glimmercairn. I'm sure we'll be okay. And besides, all the people in the stronghold and back at the tavern, they're counting on us. So
Yes, there.
have some
All
more
we can
hot
do is our
cocoa.
best.
And she hands you another, like a tiny thimble of hot cocoa.
So the only thing we need is we need a stage for Tuppence so she can draw them in.
Oh yeah, that's also part of our
Is that part of the plan?
She can play the best
And throw in
performance for us.
Where do you want this stage?
Can Murdoch create a loudspeaker?
Actually, with some clever geometry, you could probably do that.
So I'm going to say Murdoch, maybe not on his own. However, You could pair him with Very, and maybe the two of them could.
Wait, Very's not here though.
I know. You'd have to send someone to like make a persuasion check to try and get her to come help Murdoch.
Oh, is there time to get her again?
Sure.
Okay.
Murdoch, is Murdoch does Murdoch fit the bill for the type of person she's looking for
I
to
was
help
thinking
her?
that.
Yeah,
Now
I
that
think
he's
so
got-
Because
too.
that
Imagine
might help
back.
your persuasion check.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look at this person that we want to introduce you to, and we have a project for you guys to work on together.
Well, he never really cropped up because he's like, I can't do anything special, but now he can do special things. So we're like, now
Exactly.
he's definitely
Exactly.
a good person. So yeah.
That's our pitch.
All right, that's our pitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of you can roll a persuasion check at advantage. Sure.
Go
Is
for
this
it, Rick.
is this a
It's all
rematch?
you.
Okay.
It's all you.
Okay. I believe
Guidance.
in myself. Yes, I needed it. Oh, guidance too. Okay, hang on.
Yep.
Wait. Here we go. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's a dirty 20.
Okay. Rook, you take Murdoch over to Very's house to, introduce him and try and convince her to come out with the promise of the skilled craftsman.
I'll bring the box
Uh,
with too.
And when you get there, you can see that she is basically somehow in the short time since she would have received the letter, barricaded herself. Her house is just like surrounded in piles and piles of junk, and like all the lights are off inside. You get to the front door, and you can like see through. Well, actually, you can't see through the windows because all the windows are all like boarded up with like heavy metal plates by the looks of it.
Nice.
You knock on the door and you can hear scuttling from within, and a tiny little corner of one of the metal plates on behind the window glass kind of like is turned up, as you can see. Like she kind of pries the metal back a little bit, and you can see this kobold eye, and then she sees you outside, and the metal plate goes back, and then you can hear the sound of like heaving and grunting as all of this like heavy stuff is moved away from the door inside, and then you can hear locks being unlocked, and then a one of those bars in front of the door being lifted, and finally this door swings open just a little bit because there's still so much junk behind it that she can't fully open it, and Very kind of squeezes her way out, and she says, wow, it's really cold out here. I haven't been outside in a long time. Hello, what can I do for you?
Hi, Very. This is Murdoch. He's an expert craftsman, and I hand her the safe box. And I think he might be the person you're looking for.
She kind of takes the safe and then squeezes her way back inside.
Okay, no, dude.
And then she's in there for a few minutes, and then she
Okay.
squeezes her way back out, and you can see that she has these big spectacles that have
Okay.
several layers of focus lenses that she can kind of examine the different parts of it. And she says, wow, this is incredible craftsmanship. You did this? And she looks at Murdoch, and he's like, that'd be my work. This one here, Mr. Rook seems to think that the two of us could work well together. And she kind of looks up at him, looks back at the box. Yeah, I do think we could. Hi, I'm Very. Nice to meet you. Wow. Rook, how did you find someone so quickly? I mean, this is incredible. I've had that ad up in the Broken Axe Tavern for okay, time is weird. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Well, the key is just to get out there and make connections. So,
I haven't been to the Broken Axe Tavern in quite some time, so that might be why. We actually had a project we were hoping you could help us with for the defense. I promise we can get you back here in time for, all of this to begin. And Very kind of looks longingly at her fortified house. Well, I was hoping to build a few more traps. My flamethrowers are up and running, but
can we just bring everything over there? And
sorry, no, I need these here. But yeah, sure, I can come help you with a quick project before I set those up. And she kind of looks up at the sky. Oh, wow, it's getting late, but yeah, it should be time. And the group of you can trot back over to the space that you're planning to defend, and you want to build a stage with like a
Loudspeaker.
Well,
okay.
Loudspeaker
had-
is the key thing. The stage
Yeah.
is optional.
Well, there's a stage. I'll just say it's like right. Oops, that's not what
She
I
doesn't
wanted.
need a big one. Just
Just be-
No,
front and center, right on the roof. Oh, you just
no.
moved the map.
Oh
Whoa.
my gosh.
don't worry
I just
about
felt
it.
the
It's
world
fine.
shift.
Yeah.
Control Z,
Everything
Control
is
Z.
fine. Everything is fine. I'm just trying to delete this object. Jeez.
Rude.
Oh my gosh, there's a little green Zach square as well.
Ha.
I see it.
Oh, I drew it on the map. Oh, there we go. That's no. Well, okay. You'll see. I have. Hey, it's
Wow,
gone.
this is great. I'm glad I'm still showing the map so we can all
I
everyone can
know.
enjoy this.
Great.
You okay? So yeah, you managed to build a stage somewhere. I will draw it later. And between Very and Murdoch, you managed to craft a rudimentary sort of little amplifier thing that basically just reverberates the sound waves and pushes them outward. It's not really a mechanical thing. It's more of just like Zach said, it's just kind of like simple sound manipulation, good acoustics, that sort of thing. Very is escorted back to her house, and all of the citizens, including Murdoch, basically find their positions within the stronghold or within the Broken Axe Tavern. And as night begins to fall on this section of the town, so too around that same time you see heavy, dark storm clouds begin to form, and thick snowflakes begin to fall down on top of you as the blizzard begins to whip up. And now I'll do the actual thing. Whoosh.
Ooh,
Ooh,
fancy.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
that's awesome.
Wow.
And we will pick up here, I think, next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So thank you all for playing and for all your creative ideas. I will try to make this look better.
It looks super good right now.
Oh
I
yeah, it's
know,
great.
I
It's,
just-
and it's
I just want
Christmas
to watch
colors.
it. So satisfying. The snow.
But yeah, we'll pick up here with the defensive rhyme strand next week. So thank you all for playing. Thank you all who came to watch. Hope to see you later. Have a good night. Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Right.